Hello and welcome to the Bankers Tech Talk video series, looking at all things fintech. We're now in our 6th year of filming the series, so you can watch all previous episodes on thebanker.com/tech talks. I'm Joy Macknight, editor of The Banker, and I'm joined by Tosin Eniolorunda, who is CEO and founder of TeamApt, a Nigerian fintech. Tosin, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Joy. It's a pleasure to be here.
So how does agency banking really drive financial inclusion in Nigeria?
Agency banking is essentially having basic banking services available through an agent, which are human SMEs with locations that are close to where people live and work, especially underbanked and unbanked. Essentially, what this means is proximity and access. So agents are closer to the underbanked and the unbanked, so customers find it easier to patronize them for basic financial services. So when you have easy access, you essentially drive inclusion for these guys. So by having an explosion of agents around these demographics, you basically have improved access for those financial services, hence growth of financial services.
Excellent. And then how has COVID-19 really sort of turbocharged a new way of banking?
So COVID-19 essentially means social distancing, which led to reduced commutes and the need to reduce gathering of people. Prior to now, people patronized a lot of ATMs, bank branches to do their basic transactions. The pandemic has led to a situation where people can't gather as much as you would do typically in a bank branch, or people can't even travel long distances that are required. So this led to discovery of agents, and essentially people can now carry most of their transactions through these agents. That's one. Two, some people lost their jobs during the pandemic. Some of the people out of job began to find more ways to make ends meet, and they saw that one interesting way to make ends meet and generate some revenue for themselves is through agency banking. So they became agents. So you have a proliferation of agents all around town where a lot of people are getting into the agency business, hence improving supply. And hence you also have people that are looking for agency banking transactions, increasing demand. So you have supply being increased, demand being increased, and it's simply a better market at that point.
But what are the big challenges to processing digital payments in emerging markets like Nigeria?
TeamApt being, one of the foremost agency banking platform in Nigeria, has certainly experienced many of these issues. One of the biggest issues that TeamApt has faced today is the success rates of transaction processing with our transaction processor. Today, we process over 42 million transactions monthly, an excess of 600 billion monthly. We certainly have had our fair share of many of the challenges of processing this transaction. The biggest, like I mentioned, is the success rate, especially failed transactions that lead to disputes on the agent side. An example is someone wants to withdraw some cash through card and the transaction fails on the POS, but the customer has been debited at their bank. So you have a scenario where it's leading to a chargeback. And the workflow for resolving chargebacks today requires customers visiting many of those banks. So that leads to a lot of issues. That's one challenge. A second challenge is, the cost of transaction processing. It still a significant part of our cost of transaction processing, our cost of sales. It's also a significant challenge because this leads to margin erosion, as well as also the need to improve prices for the end user agents. I would say another problem that we have processing transactions will be the ability for some of the services to scale under load. Because of the volume that we handle, we have seen scenarios where many of our service providers cannot single-handedly handle some of these loads. 50,000 agents simultaneously doing transactions can sometimes be overwhelming, especially during festivities. These are some of the challenges that we have noticed as TeamApt.
So my last question is really about what your plans are for this year, 2021, but then also further out.
we'll certainly be building on some of the traction that we have had in our agency business. Today, we're using agents to deploy financial services through cash-in, cash-out services. We have seen more opportunities. For the underserved, we believe that there are opportunities for delivering microloans, and we also believe that there are opportunities to bank the underbanked as well as the unbanked. This year, we intend to deploy products to capitalize on some of these opportunities, leveraging on the traction that we have had so far in Nigeria. Also, we expect to also expand beyond the shores of the country, North Africa, as well as West Africa. So certainly this year should be an interesting year for us.
It sounds like it's going to be a very busy year. But thank you so much for your insights, Tosin.
Thank you very much, John.